first part itself. So Ayush, welcome to this debriefing session and congratulations on scoring a 720 twice now.
Oh,
So
thank you so much.
it's a good improvement, a very good improvement from the 640 score that you previously had. So Ayush, let's start with your journey. You took the GMAT twice last year. You got a 640, you got a 650. We were just talking about how you prepared during your first two attempts. So let's kind of go through that.
Yeah, sure. So in my first two attempts, I was just basically preparing using the official book, the GMAT questions, and then going through online material, whatever I could get a hang of, GMAT Club or any free resources. So it was just me going through a lot of questions online and just not tracking whatever I'm getting correct or incorrect. Just trying to go through as many questions as I can and hoping that I'll get, something correct eventually, which did not help me at all.
So you took your first attempt, you said August of 2018. No, when
It
was the
was
first?
sometime in May or June.
May of 2018.
Yep. And
And
then,
okay. And then
yep,
how long did you study before that?
it was around 4 months. Yep.
Oh, 3 months. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. And then when was your
And
second
then
attempt?
the second attempt was in August,
Okay.
which was again me just trying to do the same thing again.
So why did you do that? I mean, why did you feel, okay, if I solve more questions, I'm going to get better at it?
I had a feeling that I'm not properly focusing so yeah, another thing that I was constantly doing when I was giving these two attempts was I was trying to focus only on, there was a time when I was trying to focus only on hard questions. Like I would practice quant and just keep on trying hard questions and get like 1 out of or 2 out of 10 correct, because I was not really planning at all how my attempt would be. I mean, I did not know that I should get the easy and medium questions absolutely correct to even reach that level. So what
Yeah, but let's kind of go back. So this
Yep.
is what you're doing right now is retrospection, right?
Yep.
So let's kind of go back. Let's take you to May of 2018,
Yeah.
which is, when you were practicing these questions. So what was going on in your mind to really say, hey, why did you have belief in this strategy that it's gonna help you get to that 730, 740 score, which is what you were aiming for, I'm hoping?
Because honestly, I feel like there's nothing, even in quant, there's nothing very complicated in the GMAT exam. It's just like basic elementary mathematical concepts which everyone can learn. There's not a lot of syllabus that you have to go through. There's just some concepts, and then there's questions out of those concepts, which are just
That is
basically
what you felt at that
yes.
time.
And
You
I
said,
was
I'm going to
and
practice.
yes, I'm gonna keep practicing, and this is just the same concept in a different sort of question. I can definitely get it correct.
You can crack it. So when you
Yes.
took these two tests, what prior to, because taking a test is $250 worth. It's expensive, right?
Yes.
So what was an indication to you that, okay, you're ready for the test?
Basically, just hoping that I'll get questions correct. I was very optimistic. I was thinking that probably I'll have a good day and get a few of the quant questions
It's
correct.
just 50 points.
Yes.
Right. That's kind of the hope that we have.
Yes.
Okay. And during this time, so you started preparing from if you took the first test in June, then or in May, then you probably started preparing in March of 2018.
Yes.
So from March to August of 2018, which is when you took the second attempt, how many questions would you estimate you would have solved? So what all did you do? I think that's kind of, we can estimate the questions.
So one more thing, I was not going through I was not covering all the quant sections.
All the subsections, yeah.
Yeah, all subsections. I'm just going through whatever I feel is important. I'll I'll feel I'm weak in say probability, and I'll start solving probability questions for 2-3 days straight until I feel like I'm comfortable. So it was just maybe like I'm doing 30-35 questions a day, and like
So
not every
much.
day, but like alternate days, say
So
verbal.
you were doing about 100 questions a week
Yes.
easily. By weekends, you probably started more. So if you're doing that, you probably did 2 to 3,000 questions over your prep time. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, you know, so between August and December, I don't know what you did, but in December you purchased the e-GMAT course.
Yes. Yes.
So then what was the difference?
Yeah. So after August, I was quite I was quite devastated. I was like, I need to take a break and think think with a clear mind how I need to go about this. And then in December is when I realized I realized that this is a very, you know, crude way to approach the exam. I don't have a set, you know, defined path, which like I need to do a few things before I can even, you know, prepare for a proper mock, say. I need to get some things in order. For example, get, you know, cover at least all the quant sections, easy questions for all the questions, so that, you know, at least my uh, basics are clear.
Okay.
Until this time, I was not focusing, like till my second attempt, I was not focusing at verbal a lot. I felt like quant is what is going to take me to whatever score I'm hoping for. After December is when I really started focusing much more on verbal.
Okay.
And yes, and since then, like within 2-3 months is when I realized that verbal is what will take my score where I want to take it to.
And
Uh,
how is that?
yeah, so my verbal scores were like, I remember, I don't know which attempt it was. I remember seeing my verbal score somewhere around 31. And then I started preparing using e-GMAT. I gave a few mocks, and that verbal score is like shooting up to 35, 34, and 37. And this is where I realized that the incremental overall score change is a lot more, like I can do a
Got it.
lot more in verbal
There's a lot
than,
more headroom available to
yes,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where I can, you know, so I was focusing just on quant this whole time and doing like hard questions in quant. And then suddenly I realized there's so much potential in verbal where I can, you know, just cover up a lot.
So when you started doing verbal the e-GMAT way, what was the difference? When you improved from that V31, you got V41 too on the official attempt.
Yes. So in verbal, I was, first of all, I would never, like in my first 2 attempts, I never thought reading comprehension is important. I felt like reading comprehension, I can just, you know, I just have to read the passage
Passage.
and then just go through the question. I was not paying as much importance as everyone should to reading comprehension. And my main focus was usually always critical reasoning, because sentence correction I would still get correct, but reading comprehension was a real struggle for me initially. uh, so I started off with sentence correction like in January, finished, like I took my sweet time with sentence correction for say 1 month. And slowly I went on to reading critical reasoning. Is that is where I was struggling a lot, I felt, critical reasoning. And then I kept reading comprehension for the last, which was, again, I mean, I still did not give it as much importance as I did to sentence correction and critical reasoning. And then basically I scored the 710 in my third attempt. And that is when we spoke last time, and we sort of figured out that my reading comprehension is the lacking part.
Yeah, we spoke last time, and so what did I mean? What was the biggest takeaway for you?
Yeah, so the in our last meeting we concluded that I need to practice reading comprehension and pay it, I mean, give it as much importance as I am giving to the other two sections. And and then I started doing a lot of reading. Like I was giving probably a more attention to reading comprehension than sentence correction and critical reasoning, because I had been just neglecting it for quite a long time. And then yeah, I mean, going through questions and then like really having interest in the reading, I mean the
The
passage
concept
really
itself, yeah.
helps. So
And
I
you
was
did
not,
improve. You
yeah,
did
I did
improve.
improve. Yes. And I feel like I've maintained that improvement in reading comprehension even in my like
Final
future
attempt.
attempt. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. This was your attempt on Sigma X. And you have 88 percentile over here, 86 percentile in SCs. I mean, good scores here. And
Yeah.
and when I go into the dashboard, I can definitely see this progression from a V32 over here uh,
Yes.
to essentially a V39 over here. So I think yeah, and you got a V41 on your actual attempt. So I think
Yes.
that's really good. And also when I look at Scholaranium, I mean, I see really good accuracy with easy. I mean, the medium accuracy in RC is excellent. And it's the hard piece that you need to improve slightly. But again, this is these are aggregate scores. So your earlier missteps are still factored in over here.
Yeah.
I think on recent, if I look at the last 25 questions, you probably have done much better over here. So yeah, I mean, I think that's good. Now, you need to make sure that you get the quant and verbal together, because when you got V41, your quant went down.
Yeah.
When you got Q49, your verbal went down to V39. So we
Yes.
need to make sure that you get both of them. You perform at peak to get that
Yep.
750 score, but which you can. So
I hope I do.
yeah, which you can. I think it's about just you are at the finish line. I think you just need to just take a deep breath, focus once again,
Yes.
just go for it. But definitely, I mean, we're talking about the schools that you're applying to. NCR, HEC, I would say IESE, three good schools.
Yes.
Definitely apply to them. Um, uh, Overall, I would also look at LBS and probably. I mean, if you say I want to live in Europe, not worry about the US, then just apply to a couple of schools in the UK as well, especially with the new law for new students where they get 2 years to find a job.
Yep.
Post their MBA, I think that's really good. So I would apply to Oxford as well in addition
Yes.
to LBS. And in that case, if you say I'm going to just focus on Europe and get done with it,
Okay.
and you would get into one of the good schools. That's something that I'm more or less certain. Now, if you don't screw up your application, that is. So that's one piece. But if you want to really apply to USB schools, I would say retake the test. USB schools to require that you get to a 740 or so,
Yep.
and yeah. But yeah, I mean it's about where you want to go. In fact, you can apply in R2, and then as we talked earlier, if you get your score within 2 to 3 weeks, if you're able to improve that to 740, you can send that updated score.
Yeah.
So yes, what other question can I answer?
Yeah, I mean, one of the questions that I asked earlier over email was just basically if I could, if I could have your suggestions for any consultants. But yeah, I mean,
So there are I can suggest three.
yeah.
And it depends on the schools that you want to apply to. I mean, the two that I recommend people to are so you can speak with Poonam at my essay review,
Yep.
and then you can speak with Nupur Gupta. I did share the recording of MBA Bootcamp with you last time we spoke, right?
I don't think so. I
So
got
I'll share the recording with you.
sure.
Either way, I can
Yep.
actually get that right now. I can put it on chat. Let's see if I'm able to get the URL. Yeah. So these are the three that I would recommend that you these are the two that I would recommend. If you're looking for a self-help kind of system, then so this is the boot camp. We had you can really go and watch the recordings and see some of these consultants in action. Okay, so these are essentially all the recordings are there in HD over here. And this is Nupur, by the way. This is Prashant. So we had this boot camp in this was in May of this year. So here is the link to this. You can actually bookmark the link.
Thank you so much.
So these are the ones that I would recommend over there. Others that I've heard good reviews about, it's someone called Amrit. A couple of our students have used him.
Okay.
And yeah, so I mean, these are the ones that I would recommend. So
thank you so much. I actually have a call scheduled with Poonam tomorrow. I've already contacted her because I was going through, I think it was Mansi.
Yes.
Yes. Who mentioned she worked with Poonam.
Yes.
So I reached out to Poonam last week. So yeah, I have a call with her. Let's see what she has to say about my profile.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, you have to really look at this. Similarly, yeah, contact Nupur as well. One of the things we want to make sure is that a lot of these consultants start to get super busy at this time.
Yes, I can feel that. I mean, the responses coming in 2 days, and then I had to reach out to Poonam and then like really show my interest that can we please, yeah.
It's a very different dynamic. If you reach out to any of these consultants during March, you'd probably get a response in 2 hours.
Yes.
At this point, it's 2 days.
I've been reaching out to 2 of these guys, and Poonam was actually very quick. I reached out to her twice. The first time she came back and she's like, yes, you can probably apply to the colleges, whatever I mentioned. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to give one more attempt and then I'll reach out to you again. And then I reached out to her and then she did not respond for 2 days. And I started feeling nervous. I was like, maybe she does not want to, pay attention to me at all. And then I went to her website again, filled out the form again. And then yesterday she reached out and she's like, let's discuss tomorrow. So I'm happy.
Yeah, so I think that's something which is there at this point in time. They're just because here is the thing: if you take on a client, you have a fiduciary duty.
I can understand, yeah.
And you have deadlines.
Yes.
With that client. So, and the same thing you're going to find with Nupur as well.
Yes.
I mean, that's why when I recommend them at this point, I also always say I don't know whether they're available.
Yes, I can understand.
So because I mean, they won't even take my calls if I call them up at this point, and they're can you please take this guy? They might not say sorry.
I had to.
You have to build quality and need time.
Yes, I had to like ask Poonam. She basically was responding on email. She's like, yes, your profile is lacking in, you have a low CGPA, you might have. And then I had to go back to her on email. Can we please schedule a call? Can we please, discuss on call? And then she came back after 2 days. Let's okay, I have 20 minutes on a Friday morning. Please have your questions ready. Email me your questions so that we don't, shoot our time. Yes. So I can understand how busy she is.
Yeah, and all the good consultants, not just so would get busy. So at this point in time. So yeah, those are the ones that I would. So you have 4 that I would recommend. Amrit, I haven't personally worked with, is what I would say, but a few of our students have, and they've gotten into good schools. So I'm assuming the guy is good.